This is Shaun Sport in podcast form.
So last night the NRL got underway and you could watch all the action on Channel 9. In fact, they put the news back after the game itself because they knew that they would be able to get a lot of people watching here in WA even.
Yeah. Okay, so the State of Origin, all I've read about it is the fluff, and that is the anthem. I wanted to see if Dylan Wright did a good job because apparently everyone is panning him. They're saying he made it a little bit too Ed Sheeran-y. People said, we don't want you to change the anthem. The anthem really is I find a little bit uninspiring when it's performed with no twist.
I don't know.
I
mean, if Ed Sheeran was singing it, we'd be on board.
You
so
need
what's
to
wrong
give
with
it some
being Ed
power.
Sheeran-y?
Yeah, but you know what? I don't mind. Bring your own flavour to it.
That's
or
right.
else, just get anyway. Here he is. Here he is. We've not heard
I
him.
was like, no.
Okay, Amy's like, oh, I'm okay with it. But what do we want him to do? We're doing what he does.
Well, see, no one can sing along with it because it's not in the same tune.
Yeah, no, but say if we invited Eminem to do it, he rap. People will go, oh, how dare he rap? But he raps. This is what Dylan Wright does. So we're not asking for karaoke. We're asking for Dylan Wright, the performer.
Okay, well, you know,
don't you think? Or no?
First of all, can I just say I'd never ask for Dylan Wright, the performer?
No, Shaun, and neither would I. I'm only just talking in this scenario. Until this news, I forgot he existed.
Yeah. When you stood up on stage, Nate, I'll come back to it.
Oh, I love that bit.
Wow. You went Jimmy Barnes at the end.
Well, hello, sailor.
I mean,
I
That's
think
a very
people are being
Americanised end.
I think people are being way too harsh.
yeah. I think it's a great rendition. It's better if people are traditionalists, as you know, and they're used to going to a game and hearing it as they usually hear it. I can't deal with it. Yeah. But it's fine.
No, if we were watching a Bledisloe Cup game and that started, I would walk out the door.
You would not.
You would not.
No, I wouldn't, because I paid $100.
Exactly, Sean. You
Please.
would have got a free ticket.
Exactly.
Free
I'm in a
ticket.
box. What are you talking about?
I paid for tickets.
Anyway, the game itself started with an absolute bang because Joseph Swalili, he is a young guy that was playing for the Roosters, and he was touted as like the biggest thing in Ben Hur, right? So he's only 20 years of age. He's so big as a player that about a year or so ago, Rugby Union Australia came in and said, we want to take you from Rugby League.
Because of your bigness.
Well, he's 6'5" and he's just a weapon of a human being. And they after this season, he's going to Rugby Union and getting paid well over $1 million, like $1.5 million per season to go. Anyway, he starts the game, and the big star from the Queensland team, Reece Walsh, he's another young gun, got absolutely T-boned by Joseph, who's this big 6'5" guy. Just nailed him. You'll be able to see in a second, Nathan.
There we go. I think I watched this.
Boom!
Yes, I watched it, and then he got knocked out. Was he out cold for 30 seconds or something? I thought?
No, he wasn't, but they did the HRIA test on him and they reckon he passed it. No way, mate. Are you
that's
joking?
like being
Have a
hit
look
by
at
a
that.
And
car.
if that happened in AFL, he'd be up like suspended for the rest of the season.
The rest of the season, I reckon you're dead right
So
now.
is there no penalty for that?
No, he did. He's already been penalised 4 weeks. They've given him 4 weeks. He played a total of 7 minutes.
It'll take 4 weeks for the other guy to wake up.
This is why.
Oh, look at the captain there, Tom Travojevic.
Travojevic.
Sorry. Travojevic. I did say bitch. Look at him. Look at his reaction. He's like, are you joking? How can you send him off? Like he's a level the guy.
Are you joking? I know the other guy's dead, but are you serious? He didn't mean to kill him.
State of origin. Amazing. I mean, and that's why you can imagine the clubs wouldn't be happy if your star is now suspended for a month and the other guy's out because he's knocked out.
Well, that's right. That's why in the AFL world they don't do it because they're a bit more. But in here they accept the issues that come along with it.
That's the price.
The slow-mos are even worse. You see his head flick back. So he could have been knocked out from that head being flicked back, but then also the power that hits the ground is...
And he didn't even have the ball anymore.
Just drilled him. Yeah, so anyway, Joseph played 7 minutes in that game, the first State of Origin match he's ever played, and they're saying, well, he's not going to be able to play in the next ones. That will probably be his last time.
Oh, because he's off to Union.
Yeah, he's off to play for Australia and the Wallabies.
Yeah.
Interesting stuff, mate. $1.5 million at the age of 20. Who are you getting? That is insane.
Blow that. He'll buy something like a giant Ram truck or something.
Is that the end of your segment?
Yeah, but I'll just go back to those. A lot of people buying those cars at the moment.
Where do you park them?
It is. One was parked the other day at the shops, right? And that was jutting out so much it was blocking the lane of traffic that could go past it. So because you could basically get two cars going either side past it. So people had to wait there and then wait for another car to go past to go around that car. If it can't fit in a bloody parking spot here, what are we doing? Why are they here?
I don't think
I love them. I think they look great.
Unless you go and park at Claremont Quarter. I don't reckon they make the car parks wide enough these days.
Claremont Quarter, they're great, and so's Karen Up's parking.
Yeah. Karen Up, they've come with the times.
Oh, you know what?
I mean, you can't find your car again in
why am I
Karen Up,
talking about it? We should get Dad on for parking if we're talking about it. My dad's right now going, what are they doing? This is my domain.
Shaun Sport in podcast form.
Check out Channel 9 on Sunday at 7:30 to see Boiling Point, swimmers' greatest rivalry. We'll be able to see the Australians versus the Americans over the last couple of decades.
Went down.
Yeah.
Oh, they were punching on left, right and centre. We're talking about really the action in the pool, not the punch-ons.
I know.
Some of our greatest Olympians are going to be on show in that, in interviews. We'll be able to see Ian Thorpe, Ariana Titmus, Duncan Armstrong, Laurie Lawrence going off his head, Gian Rooney, to name a few. But this man will also feature heavily.
One of the greats.
Michael Klim, good morning.
Good morning, guys. Thanks for having me.
Klimmy, where are you right now?
I'm in Bali. Just up the road from you guys.
Yeah, the northern suburbs for us people in WA.
Hey, Klimmy, before we get stuck into the swimming stuff, I was reading an article the other day that the locals and the authorities in Bali are enraged because they said the Russians are out of control there since they've all fled there from the Ukraine situation. Have you noticed that?
Absolutely. They all have these hotted up mopeds or scooters, and they're bright colours and they're riding around. Yeah, it's madness. But
that sounds terrible.
There was a social media couple, right? There's two chicks that were filming something, obviously for one of the their sites, and one of them was on top of a petrol pump. With the petrol pump, pouring petrol over the other one while she was acting like all Zoolander.
Oh, you're joking.
Like, what are you doing?
It's a smoking country. What suburb do you live in, Klimmy, by the way?
I live in Brower, so between Seminyak and Canggu, so not far from all that craziness.
Yeah,
Luckily,
a bit of Motel Mexicola action.
Yeah. Where's your nearest swimming pool?
Well, I the Finns Recreation Club. So, when you're coming over, come and say hello.
Oh, what are you just doing? Some laps?
Well, I've got one of my swim schools out of the centre here, so I'm on there coaching pretty much every day when I'm back in Bali. But
wow.
I've been here since COVID. Actually, I went back to the sport that I love.
That's awesome.
Klimmy,
enjoying that at the moment.
I was at a swim squad yesterday, and one of the things where they, you're doing some technique stuff, and they go, all right, next 50 metres, we're doing the Klimmy. So you've inspired a whole coaching fraternity
it's almost
to teach
a new stroke, really, isn't it, in and of itself?
Well, you're training with Bill Kirby, were you?
I know Bill well. Kynwin Roberts, I believe you met Kynwin at some stage along the journey.
Yes, I did. I did indeed. And look, it's obviously I worked on that stroke, and I tried to swim like my training partner Alex Popov, who was 6'8" and had this amazing wingspan, and he swam so efficiently and delicately almost, and I just couldn't do it very well and very quickly. So I had to find my own kind of niche, and that was that's what came out. And then obviously it got me to a couple quick times, and especially in that 4x1 in Sydney. But yeah, I'm glad that people are calling it the Klimmy. So,
okay, so when you first start doing that, because it's not a right technique, did they try and correct it before letting you go for it?
Oh, not at all. I mean, at that point in time, you just try and think outside the square, and I think as an athlete, everyone has their little influences that make you better. And for me, I was doing it as a drill as well. It didn't have a name at the time, but I was doing it, and I realised that I was actually feeling really dynamic and powerful, and my coach and I said, let's just leave it as it is, and the rest is history.
I've never said to myself, I'm feeling dynamic and powerful. Doing anything, so that's great.
I mean, you hinted at that really, but it is one of the all-time great races, as far as Australians are concerned, and the fact that the Yanks were talking themselves up, and Gary Hall Jr. was mouthing off and kissing his guns all the time, and it was like a movie, really, wasn't it? The whole thing.
It was, and I think that not many races that I'm aware of had this kind of theatre, this drama that went around with it, and obviously we had Gary, who was, he was a character, and he's, to this day he's one of my best friends, and we stay in contact, and I catch up with him whenever I'm in the US. And
do you wear your medal?
But, no, it's look, he does have a little bit of a sore spot because he felt that he was misinterpreted, and I agree. There was a big article that he wrote in the Sports Illustrated magazine saying that the Aussie swim team is going to be the toughest swim team to beat, but he thinks that they can smash us like his Gibson guitars. He was trying to give his sponsor a plug, and that didn't go too well at the end.
No, it didn't.
That's so funny.
Of course. What a team you had. Thorpe in there. You talked about Bill Kirby before, Eamon Sullivan, all West Australians.
So was that the time when Thorpe was wearing that whole bodysuit?
Yeah. Look, and there was some drama with that too. You nearly missed that relay, and we'll go into that in a little bit more detail in the doco. And there's, we had managers on one end with Thorpe, and then we had another manager giving us updates, and we were, we were pretending nothing was going on, but we knew potentially we might be a 3x100 freestyle relay team, which wasn't going to cut it. But so there was all these little things that were happening on the day, but. I mean, the build-up, obviously, of that relay was just phenomenal. Thorpe had won a gold medal an hour prior, and then, that crowd of 17,000 people at the Sydney pool had never been kind of seen before, and it just went nuts.
Hey, we're looking at it now, right? So talking about the swimsuit that everyone in the world was talking about, what was it like? How are the athletes reacting to that Thorpe's full-body swimsuit?
I think there were people that kind of divided the swimming world, because I think there were some purists like Alex and, some of the older statesmen, and even Kieran to a degree for quite some time, didn't want to jump on board. But I think, with any sport, there's got to be technology and evolution, and I was all for it. Obviously Thorpe had his brand in Adidas, I had mine in Speedo, and we'd work closely with them to get the best suit we possibly could.
Yeah, he wore all of it. You wore none of it.
You've got a rig like what we're seeing at the moment.
Yeah.
Well, Klim had a super rig. You wouldn't be wearing a shirt
You
and a
don't
half,
cover it up.
No.
So in butterfly, I had the top off, so just the legs. So just a sneak peek for the butterfly, but I had to cover up for the freestyle. So
hey, Klimmy, on that though, there's been a lot. I mean, obviously those suits have been banned in that extent in recent times. So when I was thinking back to it, how's the advantage you would have got? Because I've worn a suit when I've swum long distance, and the difference in feeling is poles apart.
The buoyancy,
and the buoyancy you get. So do we? I'm not knocking.
Is there an asterisk next to the record? Is that what you're asking?
Yeah, going that way, because he's wearing a full body suit.
But it was legal at the time, so
but he was wearing flippers too.
So at the time, those wetsuits weren't like the wetsuit material. They were purely just textile, and they were lycra, and they were coated, and they had a certain sort of pattern to them. So the water, they actually, if anything, they grabbed water. So then when the swimmer was going past, it would be water on water rather than water against skin, which is created more friction. So it drags little bubbles and water along with your body. So you slide through the water quicker. But look, I think that I wish that there was better sort of regulations when those suits came in, and we could have had a nice kind of progression into the suits now, because now they had to sort of go all the way back to to what the guys were wearing before 2000, which is a shame, because in every other sport and tennis rackets and golf clubs, etc., everything's progressed except for swimming.
Now, for a lot of people, a lot of men, including me, it's a daunting thing to even think about putting on a pair of Speedos. But that was your work. That was your work gear. When do you think you're going to give up the Speedos? Around what age? Because there should be an age where people should give them up.
Sean, we're looking at you.
No, I actually think you do. No, there's an age, but then you're allowed to come back once you hit just over 40.
No.
Over 40, a lot later than that, I reckon.
A lot later.
What are you thinking? What are you thinking, Klimmy?
Well, look, I'm already into boardies. I don't know. If I'm on the beach, I don't wear budgie smugglers.
Sean. He's Olympian wearing boardies. You're wearing Speedos.
Mate, get the rig out there, brother. You're in Bali. You can get away with it because I think you're international.
it's a different rig now to what it used to be.
Hey, talking about your rig, we just saw your rig, right? We just saw your rig back in the day. Is that a good memory just to think back and like when you look down and you saw all abs and stuff? Is that good? 'Cause I don't have that memory at all logged in me.
It's a little bit sad. It's a little bit sad that it kind of goes away.
Too much Nazi goring, obviously. Come on. No, I reckon you still look all right, Clemmy. Don't worry.
Hey, Clemmy, the good connection we have for you in Perth in 1998, that's when you won most of your world championships over here at Challenge Stadium.
Yeah, I've always had a really good connection with Perth, but also the swimmers from WA and Todd Pearson and Bill Kirby and Eamon, who you mentioned, and those guys were, I lived with them for many years, and I really enjoyed coming to Perth, not only for competitions but training camps, but that World Championships in '98, it kind of set off my career. It really, I guess, brought me to to the world of swimming, and I love going back to Perth.
Yeah, Thorpe too. He had a good one that
he did 16 then, had giant feet. It's all happening.
Amazing.
Then.
All right, remember everyone, he wears boardies now.
Shaun, we're looking at you.
The black ones.
Clemmy, how old are you?
I'm 46.
You'll come back to the.
Well, being Eastern European, I reckon I might bring the budget smugglers and a gold chain back.
No, you know what it is? When people walk away from it and then they come back to it and they say they're mid-60s or their 70s, then it becomes a G-banger. It's ridiculous. They go a step too far.
You can do whatever you want, Clemmy. You're a national treasure. Thank you.
Good on you, Clemmy. 7 p.m. on Channel 9, Boiling Point. You'll love it.
Shaun Sport is a Nova podcast. For more great comedy shows like this, head to novapodcast.com.au.